The other Sunday, not last Sunday, but the other Sunday, I was the resource speaker, and I discussed about the learners' discipline. No? So I discussed the whole period for learners' discipline, but I did not tackle on some issues relating to some legal concerns, because I am not in authority to do it. So we are asking, the group is reaching out, experts in that area. Okay, it's unfair on your part if somebody will discuss about it who is not an expert, who do not have the authority to discuss it. So luckily we have a very generous man in his profession who is willing to share to us his expertise, that will help us in understanding and in going through with issues and concerns in the Department of Education relating to discipline in relation to some legal aspects. Okay, so I am not I do not have a personal knowledge with him, so our member of the core who knows about him will introduce to us before he will discuss his topic. He will share his knowledge on this topic. So, Assistant Schools Division Superintendent Dr. Leviticus Barazon will introduce our resource speaker. Bro.
Okay, bro. Thank you so much. Right. So before I start, I would like to say thank you, to Dr. Sumundong, right, for having attorney here with us. Actually, we are so blessed this evening, to have this man with us, because the main reason why I really wanted attorney to really be part of our training is that ang DepEd Danao City is actually very blessed to have him. Okay, so I just want to share this person with you because our hearts are overflowing for his presence. Kay dako kini siya accomplishments sa among division office, since we all know nga lawyers are really underpaid sa ato ang kanang salary grade lang diri sa DepEd, considering the background of our legal officers. So we are so blessed to have him. Actually, he just wanted to be introduced very simply. So akong nibaw-an na ning attorney is that take one na gini si attorney. Take one in taking the bar exam, and he was able to pass it at a very young age. In fact, single pa ni si attorney pero not available. Okay, para mas maayo mo diadaan. Okay, so before I proceed, I would like to greet everyone, kato atong mga papa who are joining us. Happy Father's Day. Atong pakpakan dito ng papa, for including principals. Principals are labi ng mga laki, are parents of the school. So even if wala mo yung mga anak, siguro you're considered a father in your school. So atong pakpakan ng mga fathers who are joining us. Okay? All right. So Moto, one of the things I've known with attorney is that he took the bar exam and really pass it in one take. And another thing that I've known with attorney is that he is for almost 3 years he has been connected with the Coast Guard, and he has the position of lieutenant senior grade officer. So dako kay ni granggo si attorney sa una. In fact, he shared to me a lot of his experiences as Coast Guard uniformed officer, serving the country. He traveled all over the Philippines to help with the operations of the Coast Guard. In fact, na-involve pa gid siya sa katong South China Sea nga kuan ay mga issues, and he was one of those people who was helping the government regarding this concern. And currently, he is now our legal officer for here in DepEd Danao City. And as I've mentioned, since he came, he has done a lot of difference to DepEd Danao in terms of kanang titling sa mga eskwelahan sa ilahang mga yuta. Another thing is that a lot of issues nga na fix niya through his expertise. And as I've mentioned, we are so blessed to have him. He's not only a person, a lawyer nga pwede nimo i-approach anytime, but he is a person who is always very much willing to share what he knows. Okay? Kaya ang uban attorney magkwanta binayran man taga word. Mahalan ba kinagpirma mga attorney, no? Pero this person is very generous nga. He is very much willing not only to me, no, to share something, but also to even to common people. Okay, so ingana siya ka generous to all. And then when I asked him to be with us and to share to us his expertise, he never hesitated. Wala gyud ka nang mas dako bigyan sila ko ano private practice, pero he never hesitated to, when he found out that this is about principals who will be taking the principals test, he only wanted for all of you to pass, and he wanted to help. So again, we are so blessed this evening because we have this person. And without further ado, let us welcome the lawyer of DepEd Danao City, the legal officer of DepEd Danao City, Attorney Aldwin Brian Desabille. Let's give him a round of applause.
Hi, sir. Happy Father's Day, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Thank
Good
you.
evening, sir. Happy Father's Day, sir.
Thank you,
And
Attorney.
to sa tanang mga papa diha, Happy Father's Day, o sa katong mga inahan nga nagpakapapa or sa ginatawag pa nila nga mga ina-tay. So, Happy Father's Day po. So, good evening everyone, especially to the organizers of this special lecture or review class, Dr. Somondong. Sir, madungog na akong sponsor, akong voice, sir. Audible na?
Yes. Laro na, Attorney.
Okay, sir. So, good evening everyone, especially to the organizers of this special lecture or review class, Dr. Sumandong, sir. Good evening, sir, and happy Father's Day. As well as to the person invited me in this event, our Assistant Schools Division Superintendent of DepEd Danao City Division, Dr. Leviticus M. Barazon Jr. Sir Levy, sir, good evening and happy Father's Day, sir. Nindot kito pagka-introduce, sir, that Sir, kanang it's nice to hear that sir, compliment. So actually, I'm almost 3 years in the Philippine Coast Guard with the rank of Lieutenant Senior Grade, and then ibalhin ko sa DepEd because of mas dool sa amo, mas dool siya sa Liloan. I'm living in Liloan, Cebu, and then Danao City, Cebu is just I think almost 20 kilometers from our house, so dool ra gyud siya. Unlike sa Coast Guard na you will travel around the Philippines, Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. So mas nindot ang DepEd, although the salary grade is much lower than my previous job. However, dili man for me lang gyud ay wala ko mag-work sa DepEd because kanang wala ko mo choose sa DepEd kay kuan kanang salary grade na ubos, wala na ako gi-matter. All I want is to help the department and then to share kung sa akong mga knowledge about sa law. So, I am also a practicing lawyer since the Secretary of Education grant me a limited authority to practice my profession as lawyer. I have my own law office in the next town from Danao City. It's in Carmen, Cebu. So I have my own office, and then after office hours or kung may mga hearings, I have to kanang on-leave ko, mag-leave ko so that maka-appear ko before sa court. So basically, kuan ra gyud. Actually last this week lang na kuan jud kong Sir Levy kay I promise nga sa pag Friday unta morning mo appeal ko sa ilahang PSB, pero tungod kay na kalit-kalit na hearing, so I have to ni apas lang, and luckily ni sugot ra sa Sir Levy. So thank you kay Sir pag Friday, and then I hope that at the end of my lecture all of you will have basic understanding, if not the best understanding of legal aspects of school discipline. And with God's grace and wisdom, all of you will pass the principal qualifying exam. And hopefully, all of you will be given an item as principal kay lahi trabaya gyud ang salary grade sa principal gyud nga item. I think same rata og salary grade basta mag principal 3 I think or principal 2. Di kay ko particular sa salary grade kay dili magugumutan sa salary grade. So kung for example, I think it's until 9 rani ang lecture, pero kung kulang ang time mo extend lang ko, and then hopefully okay ra ninyo. And then tagaan ta mo time to question me or ask any questions related sa topic, so that dili mo clouded pa sa inyong understanding sa balaod. Kay kami sa DepEd Danao City Division, headed by our schools division superintendent of Mr. Levy po, we always said na we should always follow the law. Kay bisan pag-unsa nga mga kanang issues or concerns nga moabot before sa division office, ma-answer agad na namo kay we are doing within the midst and bounds of the law. So sayon ra gyud, bisan pag kato mga serious nga mga issues and concerns, bisan pag moabot pa na sa office of the House of Representatives, office of the President, regional office, civil service, matubag ra gyud na namo tanan. Kay kami sa DepEd Danao City Division, i-follow ra gyud mi kung unsay nakasulat sa balaod. Mahalag mga suko pa na ang mga school head sa field, mga teacher sa field. Pero at the end of the day, kami sa division office, kita sa division office, kita gyud mo'y unang manubag kung unsay bolilyaso sa field. Kaya ara man na moagi nato. So hopefully, mo pa-share mo tanan, and then so magsugod na ko sa akong presentation. Ay sir, kanang kay balor mo Bisaya tanan sir?
Attorney,
Bisaya, sir. Good evening.
okay, pagara attorney.
Kasabot ra tanan.
Si Doc Louie, okay ra ka Bisaya. Doc Louie.
Hello sir.
Sige. Actually naiusa no from Luzon, pero kasabot ra ni Bisaya kay taga Cebu maning wife ni Doc Louie. So, if kuan pwede ra mo chat sa chat box siguro. Okay ra attorney.
Okay sir, sige sir. Thank you sir. Makita ra sir. Akong kuan, ala.
Yes attorney. Ara ra attorney.
So, my topic for this evening is legal aspects of school discipline. Actually, pasig mahibulong mo nga wala siya for public schools, kay in all cases decided by the Supreme Court wherein the petitioners or the respondents are coming from private schools, wherein they're always invoking the provisions of DepEd orders, wherein nakabutang ngadto nga for example sa context under the provisions kay nagbutangan for example manual for private schools, for example gibutang nila ngadto sa kuan, but the Supreme Court always said in their ruling that there should be no distinction between private and public schools, because as to the application of the laws, it should be equally applied, because private and public schools are similarly situated because both of them are schools. So that's basically the rationale. So first, the scope or coverage of my discussions are as follows. First, the legal basis. Our legal basis here with regards to the topic is DepEd issuances, rules and regulations. Second is the Family Code of the Philippines on the specific provisions on special parental authority, and then the Civil Code of the Philippines specifically under Article 2180, wherein school heads, school administrators, and teachers are primarily responsible, held primarily responsible or will be held liable in case na dili sila makaperform sa due diligence required by the law. So the next one is teacher's liability. Later in my slides, I will discuss the vicarious liability, under na siya sa teacher's liability, and then etc. And then as well as the students' rights. Under the students' rights, we have the right to free speech, expression, but those rights are not absolute. They are regulated by the state as well as by our DepEd issuances. Kay if the department will give them absolute right, then gubot ang eskwelahan, gubot ang process. Kay mo bitaw na nga in every right there's always an exception. There are always an exceptions, limitations. Kay kung imo siyang tagaan of absolute right, it will give them more rights to abuse the said rights. So prone siya sa abuses. And then the last one is school liability. So there are under this coverage na ay mga schools na during the proceedings na sa Supreme Court, before the Supreme Court, their liability as school kay dili sila i-held liable under sa case kay nganuman in a certain situation, in a certain facts given, naman gud na gitawag na case to case basis. So once nga ma-prove lang gyud sa school sa ilahang part na they exercise the diligence of a good father of the family, then makuan gyud na sila dako jud chance nga makuan ilang liability atong kanang damages or offense committed by their employees. So kani siya mo'y pinaka basic gyud sa kaning discipline, legal aspect of school discipline. It is provided under DepEd Order number 92 series of 1992. So ako ning gi-search siya kay dugay na kaayong year ba niya. As part of my research, wala jud ko'y nakita nga gi-amend di siya nga provisions which states that every school shall maintain discipline inside the school campus as well as outside the school premises when pupils or students are engaged in activities authorized by the school. So here, the Department of Education has given the clause of authority to the school personnel of schools. It means that the teachers and administrators thereof have necessary powers to inflict disciplinary procedures or errant students. So i-empower kaninga provision, kaninga DepEd order specifically under these provisions, the department, if moingon gani kog department, I'm referring to our institution, the Department of Education. So if under this provision, the department empowers all our schools to have disciplinary power over their students. So kung ang estudyante makasala, naginay corresponding penalties. So there gikuan siya in accordance sa gravity of the offense. So naay serious, less serious of minor kanang offenses. So gikuan na siya by stage na siya. And then there is a corresponding penalty based on the gravity of the offense. Ang worst nga penalty is expulsion. So, but under our rules, basta expulsion gani, it should be approved by our Secretary of Education. Kay i-check man na nila ngadto. As to imposition of disciplinary action, so man akong giingon nga the department empowers our schools to impose disciplinary action to erring students. So school officials and teachers shall have the right to impose appropriate and reasonable disciplinary measures in case of minor offenses or infractions of good discipline. However, no cruel or physically harmful punishment shall be imposed or applied against any pupil or student. Here, we can see that there are also limitations on the ways of disciplining the said students, that the teachers and administrators have to be cautious on means they are going to give the disciplinary measures. The said prohibitions are well stipulated in various issuances of the department, like the child protection policy. One example of this is the use of corporal punishments by teachers are strictly prohibited. So, nakakam across na pod mi ani sa among division. It was way back 2019. Pag sugod jud nako sa DepEd, munay pambungad jud nga ko kaning na ay case involving our teacher nga gifilan siya o kaning child abuse in relation aning child protection policy. Maayo gani kay nakuan siya, na dismiss ra siya kay tungod sa ebidensya nga gi-present sa complainant is dili siya kanang in relation sa kanang i-allege nila nga na-commit sa teacher. So may ganito kay na kuan siya na dismiss siya kay dili connected ang complaint nga gi-file sa complainant, kay ang ilahang giingon gilusnit iyahang anak nya nilagom kuno, but the evidences presented like the kaning medical certificate, medical records like x-ray is ang na reflect ngadto is diri na igo sa spinal cord. So ang iyahang kuan from ang iyang allegation is gikusnit sa diri dapit sa kaning ulo, pero ang result sa medical findings is ang iyang spinal cord. So layo siya. So wala siya relation as to the offense complained of and then sa evidence nga gi-present. So before sa fact finding committee pa lang is ang recommendation sa committee is i-dismiss gud siya kay walay kanang cause of action nya, dili siya ang evidence presented sa kay dili maka-support sa offense nga gi-file. So mao to siya na dismiss ang kaso, and then the regional office kanang ibutang gyapon ngadto nga although dili siya sad-an ang maestra, but we have to inform her nga kanang i-observe lang gyud ang child protection policy, and then patas-antas-an gyud ang iyang pasensya. And then this one, under the family code, we as teachers, the school, and then the administrator of the schools have special parental authority. So unsay pasabot sa special parental authority? So kay ang pasabot aning special parental authority, ang the child, regardless kung minor siya or of age, na siya natural parent. So by the time nga gihatag siya sa pa-eskwela siya sa iyang mama, naa siya sa ato ang eskwelahan, natay kanang special parental authority over the said child. So kung unsay mahitabuan ng bataa sulod sa eskwelahan and then you failed to exercise the diligence required by law, kanang you will be held liable for that. Kay kanang kita man mo'y second parent anang bataa. So under the Article 218 of the Family Code of the Philippines, it provides that the school, its administrators and teachers shall have special parental authority and responsibility over the minor child under their supervision, instruction, or custody. So, timan-igid ninyo ha kaning school administrators and teachers kay kanang, for example, basig mugawas ni siya sa inyong exam, and then basig mo ana ba all except ang question is, for example mo ingon siya nga all except one shall have special parental authority and responsibility over the minor child under their supervision, instruction, or custody to all authorized activities whether inside or outside the premises of the school, entity, or institution. So, kung for example, mo na line of questioning all except one, so kani siyang tanan, kaning school, administrator, o teachers, mo na siya na ay special parental authority. So, kung unsay ipuno nga usa, mo na siya answer kay all except one man. So, ana ra kay basin ang examiner ninyo ba kay kanang tricky mo hatag og question, so you have to read the questions and then kanang scrutinize gud ninyo ang kanang choices kay okay ra ni kung bar exams kay kita may mabuhat sa answer, pero kung qualifying exam as per conversation namo ni Sir Levy, it's a multiple choice question niya. Mas lisod kung ako lay pasultihon, mas lisod jud ang multiple choice question kaysa ikaw ang magbuhat sa answer nga kanang isay type lang. And then special parental authority and responsibility of the school shall apply to all authorized activities whether inside or outside the premises of the school, entity, or institution. So, unsay pasabot anang all authorized activities. So, ang pasabot anang all authorized activities are those activities nga gi-allow sa school. Kung for example, kanang mag-field trip nya, gi-approve ni school head or ni principal. So, question, is that kanang activities authorized by the school? The answer is in the affirmative. Yes, yeah. Kay even though naa siya outside sa eskwelahan, pero kay tungod gi-allow siya, gi-approve siya ni school head, then that's the time nga kinahanglan jud ka mo observe sa diligence required by the law, which is diligence of a good father of the family. So kung failed ka mo observe ana and then something happens atong activity, for example, death occurred sa one of the usa sa mga kanang estudyante, then failed ka ni observe sa diligence required, then ma-held liable ka for damages under Article 2180 of the Civil Code of the Philippines. So, munay ato ang tan-awon gyud kay whether it's curricular or extracurricular, even if it's extracurricular but was held outside of the premises of the school, the nagyapon tayo special parental authority. So, mo-observe gyud ta ana. And then this one, discipline outside the school. So, kani siya it was kaning decided sa case ni Angeles versus Sison, dated February 16, 1982. So, basig mangutana mo ba nga, kadugay na 1982, dili ba na siya obsolete? The answer is, dili gini siya obsolete. Kay why? The decisions rendered by our Supreme Court, they're always kanang ilagid gyapon nang i-reiterate o balik ang mga previous ruling. So this kind of rulings way back 1982 mabalik gyapon ni siya nga decision i-reiterate ra gyapon ni siya sa present ruling, like for example year 2021 na ay same set of facts, same set of law, basta ang balaod nga gi-apply is wala pa gi-amend, gi-revise or gi-modify, that this jurisprudence is still kuan gyapon effective. So kay tungod kani siya gi-reiterate man gid ni siya sa mga succeeding succeeding cases decided by the Supreme Court. So gamit gihapon ni siya nga kaso kaning kang Angeles versus Sison kaning discipline outside the school. So ang pangutana ani kay, does the school have authority to impose discipline for offenses committed outside the school? Ang tubag ani kung atong inabugaduhon sug tubag kanang ang atong yung tubag ani, it depends. Pero kung mo take tag principal qualifying exam kay naman ay choices, imo yung basahon ang kanaing kuan niya ang iyang choices. So adto ra ka mo dwell sa imuhang choices. Pero generally the school has authority to impose discipline yun for offenses committed outside the school if it is in cases of violation of school policies or regulations occurring in connection with a school-sponsored activity off campus, or in cases where the misconduct of the student involves his status as a student or affects the good name or reputation of the school. So nani siya naka-state sa akong next nga slide nga when siya pwede ma-apply. So in the case of, para lang po makuan mo sa facts aning Angeles versus Sison. So kaning kang Angeles versus Sison, it involves two FEU students nga ilahang gikulata ilahang professor sa usa ka restaurant outside sa university premises. So the school imposed disciplinary sanction against the two students. So kung may mahibong mo ani unsay pasabot aning 112 SPRA 26, 112 refers to the volume number of the book. So volume number 112 kaning SPRA, it's man siya Supreme Court reports annotated. It's a book. So volume number 112 of the book sa SPRA, and then page number 26 mo ni siyang 112 SPRA 26. But if wala tay SPRA, kay usually makita ra man nimong SPRA sa law school library. So wala, limited ra gid ato ang kananing mga nata sa department, and even gani sa legal office sa amo ang division wala sad ni SPRA. So if you are using Lawfil or internet, so just type GR number 11-45551 dated February 16, 1982. So makita nimo ngadto nga Jose S. Angeles and Gilberto G. Mercado in his capacity as Dean of Institute of Technology FEU petitioners. So and then versus Sison, Judge of Court of first instance ni siya, RTC na siya ron. Kuha ni siya, Angeles versus Sison, gi-shortcut na siya para basig maglibog mo ba. So the facts of the case in this case Angeles versus Sison, Jose Angeles, kani si Angeles, the petitioner, initiated an administrative case before the office of the dean ni kaning Gilberto G. Mercado, one of the petitioner also, kanang being the dean of the Institute of Technology sa FEU. So by filing a complaint against the respondents, kani silang Edgardo Picar and Wilfredo Patawaran, for alleged breach of the university's rules and regulation. In the said complaint, it is alleged that Jose Angeles, a professor in the Institute of Technology of FEU, was assaulted by Edgardo Picar and Wilfredo Patawaran, both students in mechanical engineering in the said school at the Oak Barrel Restaurant. So, kani siya ako lang gikuan kay basig mugawas ni sa inyong exam. On the occasion of the birthday party sa usapod ka professor nga secretary sa department nila sa FEU. So the same incident became also the subject of a criminal complaint for assault, pero kaning criminal complaint nila was dismissed because the petitioner Jose Angeles filed an affidavit, executed an affidavit of desistance. So kay tungod nag affidavit of desistance naman siya, so iyan ang gi-withdraw ang case. But in this case, kaniyang administrative complaint, wala man siya mo file og kuan kaning affidavit of desistance. This administrative complaint is ni padayon ra gyud gihapon. So the question, kani silang Picar, Edgardo Picar og si Patawaran kanis Wilfredo, ilang gi-question ang authority sa FEU to conduct administrative case nga wala man siya incur ang offense within the university's premises. So muna ilang gi-question. So niingon ang Supreme Court nga dili the school has naay authority ang school to impose discipline over their acts. Kay nga naman common sense, one of the provisions under the said jurisprudence provides that common sense dictates that the school retains its power to compel its students in or off campus to a norm of conduct compatible with their standing as members of the academic community. And then nakita po sa court na ang katong pagkulata nila sa ilang professor was based on a professor-student relationship. Kay kani magong mga estudyante nagsige na niglungot nanikalagot sa ilang professor, and then mo to ilahang opportunity nga makabaw sa professor. So mo to nga ilang gikulatan nga ana ang Supreme Court kung i-allow tani nga instances mahimo ni siyang source of abuse sa mga estudyante nga kung walay authority to discipline ang eskwelahan, even the offense was committed outside the school, kung wala sila'y authority ana, then daghan ang mga maestro or principal nga kulatahon outside sa school premises. So niana ang Supreme Court, dili na siya pwede. So the school has a dual responsibility to its students. One is to provide opportunities for learning, and the other is to help them grow and develop into mature, responsible, effective, and worthy citizens of the community. Discipline is one of the means to carry out the second responsibility. Thus, there can be no doubt that the establishment of an educational institutions requires rules and regulation necessary for the maintenance of an orderly educational program and the creation of an educational environment conducive to learning. Such rules and regulations are equally necessary for the protection of the students, not only the students, but the faculty and the property of the school. The power of school officials to investigate, an adjunct of his power is to suspend or expel, is a necessary corollary to the enforcement of such rules and regulations and the maintenance of a safe and orderly educational environment conducive to learning. So, part man na siya to provide an educational environment conducive to learning. One of part ang discipline. So if it was committed outside the school, pero ang iyang underlying motives is kay tungod galagot siya sa maestro or sa principal, for example, kay basig nabadlungan na sud sa eskwelahan niya, wala man siya way nga makabaw sa iyang professor, sa iyang maestro or principal within the school premises, so ato niya buhaton sa gawas. So that's the reason why the court said nga even the offense was committed outside the school, the school authorities, the administrator has the power to discipline the said students. So the test of school rights. So that the true test of school's right to investigate or otherwise suspend or expel a student for a misconduct committed outside the school is not the time or place of the offense, but its effect upon the moral and efficiency of the school, and whether it in fact is adverse to the school's good order, welfare, and advancement of its students. So, ang kuan niya is dili nimo tan-awon ang time or place of the offense. Dili nimo siya tan-awon sa kana nga situation, kun dili sa unsay epekto niya sa eskwelahan. Kay kung for example, kung imo lang tan-awon nga gikulata siya outside sa school, gikulata ang professor, principal, or any school personnel outside sa school niya beyond office hours, beyond school hours. So, do you think dili na siya makapa-low moral sa part sa atong school personnel? So, makakuan yun siya, maka-affect yun siya sa moral sa atong school and as well as to our school personnel. That's why the court in this case extend the jurisdiction, extend the power to discipline our students even outside the school and even beyond school hours or beyond office hours, regardless of the time and the place of the offense. So in this case, in the Angeles versus Sison, the court highlighted nga if we are going to affirm the decision of the lower court, kaysa lower court manggod giingnan ang eskwelahan nga oy wala mo right to discipline anang mga bataa kay wala na sa inyong poder pagka commit sa offense. It's beyond school hours, it's outside the school premises, so wala na mo right ana to discipline the student. So niana ang Supreme Court na kung i-allow ta na, it would give nothing less than a license to students of a school, public or private, so it refers to the school, to assault and maul their teachers or professor without fear of being subjected to discipline by the school as long as the assault takes place off campus or beyond school hours. So matong niya na ang Supreme Court nga dili na pwede. So mao na nga if it was committed even beyond school hours and outside the school has still the power to discipline that student, kay it will affect the moral and efficiency of the school, including the school personnel. So wala siya part sa decision. So naagya po ni siya makita sa kaning nga jurisprudence kaning kang Angeles versus Sison kung kanus siya ma-apply. So the question is, when may it apply? So under this jurisprudence, the instances when the school might be called upon to exercise its power over its student or students for acts committed outside the school and beyond school hours in the following. So mao ni siya nga two instances. First is in cases of violations of school policies or regulations occurring in connection with a school-sponsored activity off campus, or the second one is in case where the misconduct of the student involves his status as a student or affects the good name or reputation of the school. So mo ni siya tan-awon. So it's either aning nilang duha ka instance pwede ta maka-discipline over a student or students. So be observant lang gyud sa conjunction nga gigamit, kay if it's if the word is kuan or kuana siya, it's either anang duha. If it's and, dapat kanang duha mo kuan gyud na siya, magdungan gyud na siya ka-exist. Kay kanin sa kaning nga case, it's or man, so either aning duha. So kani teacher's liability. As to teacher's liability, kaning under sa vicarious liability, it is very well discussed in the case of Camargo versus Court of Appeals, GR number 85044, dated June 3, 1992. So basig mahibong sad mo nga noong 1992, basta mga magisgot ganitag mga karaan nga balaod nya gigamit gihapon karon nato, it's pwede siya ma-consider as landmark case sa kaning nga provision. So gamit gihapon ni siya as long as the principle is wala siya gi-amend, gi-revise or gi-modify sa another jurisprudence, it is still kanang good jurisprudence. So the next one is basis of teacher's liability. As to the basis of teacher's liability, it is well provided under Article 2180 of the Civil Code. So na makita ni nato madto. So later on my later on my slides makita ato ning i-discuss. And then school custody, makita nato under the in my slides makuha na to nga kanus-a na ay custody ang eskwelahan over the student. So ma-answer pod na, and then it is also discussed in one of our jurisprudence. Actually kaning as to school custody, daghan jud ning mga jurisprudence ani, but I just selected one lang yun. Kay basta ang hunahon lang yun nato mga ma'am ug sir, if you're going to take the exam, let's just kaning ato lang yung kuhaon ang unsay mga basic rule. Kay if you are equipped with that, one gid siya kanang bisan pag bali-balihon ka og pangutana nya na kay basic understanding, basic concept sa kanang balaod sa jurisprudence, and then ni-appeal pa jud ka ning lecture. So there's no way of failing the exam, especially kung kani siya nga topic ang bugawas. Kay it's basically kuan ra gid siya. Kung unsa nga principle ang akong gisulti, same principle will apply. Kuan lang, same different lang ang set of facts, but the principle applied is just the same. And then the last one under teacher's liability, kay unsaon nato pag-avoid sa liability, how to avoid liability. So as to how to avoid liability, katora mo dapat imong to exculpate liability, you have to prove that you exercise due diligence of a good father of the family. So once you prove it before the court of law, then dako og chance nga ma-exculpate jud ka sa liability. So dili ka makabayad og damages like moral damages, exemplary damages, or kaning expenses of the litigation. So that's basically the mga perks ana basta exculpate ka sa liability. Kay kung ma-head liable ka, you're going to pay moral damages depende sa unsay damages nga gipangayo sa complainant or sa petitioner. Kay kung ma-prove nila nya failed ka to prove nga ni-exercise og diligence of a good father of the family, sus kadako. Kung mabayaran labi sa karon nga sa karon nga setting, sa karon nga year nato, kay for example the payment for moral damages ang pinakaubos ana is 50,000. Sa una, if you're going to read jurisprudence or decisions of the Supreme Court way back 1990s at 2000 below, kay mga ubos pa gyud iyang penalty. Pero kung makakuha na kag 2021 mga karon, dagko na gyud siya mo, millions na gyud siya tungod kay nag-usab na masad ang ato ang value sa money. Sa una katong 6,000 dako naman gud to. Karon ang 6,000 nato maglisod nag maglisod nagkuhan ka ng paggasolina sa sakyanan.